Welcome back. All right, so carving out some time on a busy Saturday, I want to do a 32-team video. So what I've got here, I've got the Atlantic teams, then I've got the Metro teams, the Pacific teams, and the Central teams, and I just randomly threw the logos on the board for each team in each division. So what I've got on the board here is 2 players from each team. I've got the leader in terms of average ice time, which can include players who are injured or have been injured. And then I've got a player who was added to the roster either before this season started or during this season. So I wanted to do this today, and we'll go ahead. We'll start things off with the Atlantic division. So I'm going to do timestamps for each division. And in the Atlantic, we're starting off with Ottawa. So Jake Sanderson has really built on what was a strong breakthrough season last year. 27 games, 6 goals, 17 assists, 23 points. He's leading him in ice time. He's doing a little bit of everything for the Ottawa Senators. Eller has played 26 games so far this season. 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. Eller was added for that fourth-line center spot. I think he's done well. I think the Ottawa Senators are built pretty well. If they get to the playoffs, I think they should be able to win a round this year. And Sanderson would be a big positive there. And Eller, of course, I think solid addition. Tampa Bay, Hedman, though he's been hurt, in terms of average ice time, he's still the leader. 15 games, 12 assists for Hedman. He just doesn't age. Hedman's been just absolutely fantastic when he's been in the lineup for Tampa this year. Holmberg, not a lot of additions for Tampa. Holmberg, 20 games, 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points. Depth scorer, does his job relatively well. And so not a lot negative to say there when it comes to the Tampa Bay Lightning. For Florida, Seth Jones, 26 games, 3 goals, 10 assists, 13 points. Jones is the leader in terms of average ice time per game. Sabrango, so not a lot of additions for Florida. They didn't have the cap space for it. Sabrango, since being picked up on waivers, 9 games, 2 assists. As I'm recording this, he's playing his 10th game in Florida as well. Sabrango, the latest to be picked up by Florida on waivers, who may end up being a pretty good steal for them when all is said and done. For Buffalo, their leading minute getter is Dahlin, 25 games, just the 1 goal so far to go with 17 assists for 18 points. Dahlin, the goals will come. I believe that. He definitely gets the ice time, as shown here by him being on the board. Dahlin's a defenseman who probably gets underrated because he plays in Buffalo. Josh Doan. And I don't know why Josh Doan in the Peterka deal was kind of overlooked. Like, oh, it's a fleece by Utah, and we'll talk about Peterka. But Doan, 28 games, 8 goals, 11 assists, 19 points. A little bit of physicality in Doan's game as well. I have to say, I think he's been a good pickup by a Buffalo team that's had some issues over the years when it comes to their acquisitions and their trades and, of course, free agency and all that fun stuff. So I think Doan's been a win for him. For Toronto, Morgan Rielly's their leading time getter. 26 games, 4 goals, 17 assists, 21 points. I've said about Rielly for years. I think Rielly's fine. I think he's miscast a bit as a number 1 defenseman in Toronto. He is not in the same stratosphere as some of the other number 1 defensemen in the NHL, clearly. And so it's a shame Toronto's never really had that number 1 guy like a Drew Doughty in LA. They've never really had that. And I think that there's a lot of criticism of Rielly, which is fair, but I think part of it is that Rielly plays just too many minutes. Roy, 24 games, 2 goals, 7 assists, 9 points. I don't think Roy's been as effective for Toronto as he was in Vegas in previous seasons, but there's still time for that to turn around for him. Boston, Charlie McAvoy, 19 games played, 14 assists, still leading them in terms of average ice time. McAvoy's lost roughly 20 pounds since his jaw injury because he can't eat solid foods. So, could be a while before McAvoy's really ready to get back in the lineup. That's going to sap a lot of his strength. Jeannot, 29 games, 3 goals, 8 assists, 11 points. I don't know if Jeannot's changed anybody's mind about that contract. If you think it was fair, you probably still do. If you think it was too high, you probably still do. For Montreal, Matheson, 26 games, 4 goals, 11 assists, 15 points. Top minute getter. Yep, gets an extension as well. Sure. Bolduc, not necessarily getting as many minutes, but his numbers are good. 26 games, 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points. I'm going to continue to bang that drum. I do like Bolduc. He's one of the players that I'm really rooting for this season in Montreal. For Detroit, Seider has to be the one that gets the most minutes, of course. 28 games, 4 goals, 17 assists, 21 points. Another defenseman who's having quietly a pretty darn good season. Van Riemsdyk is the veteran I picked for them, who's come in 22 games, 5 goals, 1 assist, 6 points. Van Riemsdyk at this point, he's never going to end up being a top 6 forward again in the NHL, but used correctly and sporadically here and there. Used strategically might be the better way to put it. He can still put the puck in the net. He could still get near 20 goals this season, and that's why Detroit would have picked him up. For New Jersey, Luke Hughes. So I talked about Morgan Rielly being miscast. Maybe Luke Hughes is miscast as well. 28 games, 1 goal, 13 assists, 14 points. But if you look at the underlying numbers for Hughes, it's been not fantastic. So for Luke Hughes, we'll see how things go from here. But yeah, the New Jersey Devils definitely need to figure things out. And Luke Hughes with that huge extension. And I know point every other game isn't bad, but just the general play for Luke Hughes has been under fire a lot, and I'm not going to necessarily disagree with it. Dodonov's just played the 5 games this year for New Jersey. No points for him. Needs a good long stretch run here of getting some games in, so hopefully he returns to the lineup soon and can really get into the swing of things. Carolina, I was surprised Walker leads them in ice time. 26 games, 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points. I do like Walker. I think he's a good defenseman. But yeah, mildly surprised that he leads them in ice time. Nick Ehlers, amongst new players, 26 games, 5 goals, 11 assists, 16 points. It was a slow start for Ehlers. He has picked it up since that slow start. And so, yeah, Ehlers is fitting in pretty well on a Carolina team that's going through a bit of a rough patch right now, but they'll be fine. They'll come through that. For Pittsburgh, Erik Karlsson is the leader in terms of ice time for them. 26 games, 1 goal, 17 assists, 18 points. Erik Karlsson's not the defenseman he was 10 years ago, but I think he's better defensively than he was 10 years ago. He's not going to be, a big goal producer for the rest of his career here, but he still produces enough points that should he become available for trade, if Pittsburgh decides to do that at some stage soon, I think there would be some interest. Point-producing defensemen are always going to produce at least some interest. Brazo, who's getting ready to return for Pittsburgh, 12 games, 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points. Brazo really does fit in Pittsburgh. It will be interesting to see when he comes back to the lineup if he can maintain that pace points-wise or if he ends up dropping down. For Philadelphia, Sanheim leads them in ice time, 26 games, 2 goals, 9 assists, 11 points. Another defenseman who may very well be underrated in the grand scheme of things. I do like Sanheim, and I think he provides them with a good two-way game. Then you've got Zegras, 26 games, 10 goals, 16 assists, 26 points. I have talked up Zegras a lot lately. I'll talk him up again here. He's finally got it figured out at the NHL level, or Philadelphia finally figured out how to unlock that potential in Trevor Zegras. For the Islanders, Schaefer leads them in ice time. He's 18 years of age. That's ridiculous. 28 games, 8 goals, 12 assists, 20 points. So he's dropped off that pace he had early in the season, but he's 18. So it's insane that he's leading them in ice time. It's just invaluable experience for Schaefer, and it makes the Islanders look brilliant for picking him and for trading out Dobson. I don't know what Dobson would be doing on the blue line if he was there. But he definitely wouldn't be cutting into the ice time for Schaefer. And Heinemann's been a really good pickup for them. 28 games, 10 goals, 6 assists, 16 points. So Emil Heinemann's on pace for almost 30 goals this year. That's more than anybody expected. For Washington, Jacob Chikrin's having an amazing run for the Caps. 29 games, 10 goals, 14 assists, 24 points. Played very well on the road trip. They just finished out where they got 7 out of 8 points. Sort of has been a very good pickup on the fourth line. I thought it was really smart of them to pick him up out of Charlotte after the Calder Cup playoff run he had. 28 games, 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. He's got some speed. He can back check. He's a really good fourth line player. I thought that was a smart move by the Capitals at the time, and I'm saying it again here as well. For the Rangers, Adam Fox, who's going to be out for a while, has been their leader in average ice time, 27 games, 3 goals, 23 assists, 26 points. There is a wide, diverse opinion on Fox as to whether or not he's a good defenseman, a great defenseman, or a bad defenseman. I will say I think Fox is a good defenseman. I think he gets a lot of criticism that I don't necessarily agree with, although he's probably not top 5 in the NHL at this point on the blue line. I still think he's a good defenseman. Taylor Radish, 29 games, 5 goals, 2 assists, 7 points. Radish can get hot at times, and I think he's been a good addition for the New York Rangers so far this season. Rounding out the Metro division, we have the Columbus Blue Jackets and Zach Werenski, 27 games, 9 goals, 20 assists, 29 points. Werenski's above a point per game, and if he keeps this up, he will be a finalist for the Norris Trophy again. I would expect him to be the runner-up to Makar, of course, but we'll talk about Makar in a bit. Werenski's just been absolutely fantastic. Coyle has been a good pickup for Columbus. 27 games, 4 goals, 14 assists, 18 points. I was kind of thrown when they picked up Coyle. I didn't know if that was necessarily going to work, but it does seem like that's definitely helped them. All right, moving on to the Pacific Division, and we'll start off with the LA Kings. Drew Doughty, average ice time, he's their leader. 20 games, 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points. Still hoping to be bound for the Olympics. I don't know if he gets there or he doesn't, but he's trying. Armia's been a really solid pickup for them, especially shorthanded. 27 games, 5 goals, 6 assists, 11 points. Yoel Armia is a very good depth forward, and I think that was a good pickup by Ken Holland and the LA Kings. For San Jose, Orlov has been their leader in ice time. He has 16 assists in 29 games, still seeking that elusive first goal this season, but Orlov's been really good. So Dmitry Orlov, I think, has been a good pickup. The fact he's leading them in ice time and their defense has got a lot better, I think those things are related. Skinner, 18 games, 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points. A little less enthusiastic about Jeff Skinner. However, 4 goals in 18 games, that's almost a 20-game pace. So there's the chance that at the trade deadline that they maybe move him and find somebody who's willing to pick him up for the fact that he is, somebody who can still put the puck in the net on occasion. For Vancouver, Quinn Hughes still their leader in ice time, 23 games, 2 goals, 20 assists, 22 points. Not having a Quinn Hughes type season, I think a lot of the noise, while the Canucks will deny that the noise gets to them, it definitely looks like it does. Evander Kane hasn't been awful with Vancouver, 27 games, 5 goals, 9 assists, 14 points. You do get your share of penalties with Evander Kane, and I'm still of the mind that it was weird to help out Edmonton and just take that contract off the books for him. It's a choice. But yeah, Kane, and he's likely going to get moved at the trade deadline by the Canucks. Anyways, for Anaheim, Jackson Lacombe, 28 games, 3 goals, 12 assists, 15 points. Lacombe, when he signed that contract, I saw a lot of who and why and what would they do. That's just crazy. That's a stupid contract. Honestly, I think Lacombe's going to be very good for that contract. He had a bit of a slow start to the season. He's been much better lately, and I do like his game a lot. Kreider's fit in really, really well in Anaheim. 24 games, 13 goals, 6 assists, 19 points. I think Kreider's happy in Anaheim, and I think Anaheim is pretty happy with Chris Kreider. Definitely, whether it's a coincidence or not, their power play looks a heck of a lot better this year than last year, where it was an anemic 32nd ranked power play, so definitely seems like that's helped them. For the Oilers, Bouchard's your leader in ice time. 28 games, 4 goals, 21 assists, 25 points. The criticisms of Bouchard are similar to the criticisms of Fox. They're criticisms of defense, criticisms of intensity. In Bouchard's case, there's the very prominent turnovers as well. I still like Bouchard just fine as a defenseman, but I do understand that the turnovers, the timing of said turnovers, the highlight reel variety of said turnovers does tend to upset some fans of the Oilers. Mangiapane, 28 games, 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points. I'm a big fan of Mangiapane, but it has been more of a struggle for him in Edmonton after a pretty decent start to the year. For Seattle, Vince Dunn is their leader in ice time. 25 games, 4 goals, 9 assists, 13 points. Dunn's a very good defenseman on this team. Very good number one at this point. I do think Seattle could benefit from finding a real true number one defenseman. Odds are they'll have to develop that defenseman because teams don't trade real true number ones without asking for a mint in return, and they tend to be pretty pricey as well in terms of contract. Mason Marchment has not had the run in Seattle that I think he would have liked to. 23 games, just the 2 goals to go with 9 assists for 11 points. The 11 points isn't bad, but the 2 goals, you need a little bit more than that from Mason Marchment this season. Vegas, Shea Theodore, no surprise. He leads them in ice time on average. And he's got 4 goals, 13 assists, 17 points in 27 games. Shea Theodore, very much an underrated defenseman on the Vegas Golden Knights. Mitch Marner, it's been a very up and down experience for Marner so far in Vegas. 27 games, just the 5 goals. I think they'd want more goals than that. 21 assists for 26 points. So for the detractors of Marner, he's below a point per game in Vegas. For those who like Marner, he's barely below a point per game in Vegas. I do think that as the season goes along, Marner's numbers probably get a little bit stronger than what they are right now. But maybe he doesn't end up in that 100-point range. Maybe it's more of an 85 to 90-point range that he gets himself into this year. Rounding out the Pacific Division with Calgary, Rasmus Andersson leads him in ice time, leads him on the blue line, leads him in scoring. 29 games, 6 goals, 14 assists, 20 points. Andersson's been very consistent, very good, and isn't showing any signs of a player who wants out of Calgary. So we'll see if he ends up leaving Calgary. I think that the price is going to be too much for Calgary to turn down. I think they'll be able to get a lot for Rasmus Andersson at the deadline, especially if when he's traded, they also work out an extension. So if it's kind of a sign-and-trade deal, Andersson could bring back a lot for Calgary. Johnny Beecher, since being picked up on waivers, 1 assist in 8 games, but he's getting better with Calgary. It seems like every game he's getting more comfortable, and I would expect the numbers to get better for Beecher, even offensively, because there is that ability Beecher has to produce in that manner. All right, so we get to the Central Division now. And in the Central, we're going to start off with Dallas. I'll put my book down. I'm done with the timestamps. Heiskanen leading them in ice time. No surprise there. 29 games, 5 goals, 20 assists, 25 points. He should be in the Norris discussion. He should be, I would think, top 10 in Norris. Like, there's so many good Norris level defensemen. Top 10, maybe top 5. I have no idea where he's going to end up in the voting. But Heiskanen's had an excellent year. I wanted to talk a little bit about Kolyachonok. 9 games, 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points. I think Kolyachonok's been good for Dallas. I have been a verbal supporter of Kolyachonok for a long time, but he does find himself out of the lineup a lot at the NHL level. As Dallas's defense gets healthier at some point, I would expect Kolyachonok ends up out of the lineup for them. It'll be interesting to see if maybe he ends up being traded rather than just going on waivers and being sent back down to the minors. For Minnesota, Brock Faber leading them in ice time. 28 games, 6 goals, 9 assists, 15 points. I think it's been a really good bounce back year for Faber. I didn't think he had a great year last year. I thought Faber definitely was better than what his numbers showed last year, and this year he has had that bounce back. Tarasenko, 21 games, 2 goals, 8 assists, 10 points. We knew Vladimir Tarasenko's goal scoring had dropped off. I think 2 goals in 21 games, probably disappointing for him and for the Wild. I would expect at least a little bit of an improvement. I'm not saying a ton of improvement. I'm not saying he gets to 20 goals or anything crazy like that. But I think 2 goals in 21 games is a little bit too low. For Chicago, Vlasic, the monster of a man, Vlasic. 26 games, 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points for the 8-footer. Seems like everybody on their blue line's 8 feet tall. If you want to play in Chicago, either you're Bedard or you're 8 feet tall on the blue line. But Vlasic, I think, has had a good year. Maybe overshadowed a little bit by a couple of other defensemen. Rinzel comes to mind. Crevier's had a really good year as well. But yeah, Vlasic's been good. Burakovsky's proven me wrong so far. Burakovsky, 22 games played, 7 goals, 11 assists, 18 points. His numbers have been excellent. So I was of the mind that Burakovsky over the last couple of years probably wasn't a top 6 forward anymore, but he's shown in Chicago he can still produce as a top 6 forward, and has definitely been part of the reason why Chicago's much better this year than what they were last season. For Winnipeg, Morrissey. No disappointment with Morrissey, even while some of the Jets have been disappointing. 27 games, 5 goals, 19 assists, 24 points. Absolutely ridiculous numbers. Morrissey is a really, really good defenseman and has been for many years. Nyquist. Disappointing Nyquist season. 6 assists in 20 games for Gustav thus far for Winnipeg. They need some goals from Nyquist. When they signed Nyquist, the idea wasn't necessarily to replace Ehlers. Nobody's going to replace Ehlers, but maybe scoring by committee. And that committee so far has not brought back the results that I think Winnipeg would have wanted. Need some more committee meetings. But yeah, Nyquist definitely needs that first goal, and then maybe he goes on a bit of a run. For Nashville, Yossi is the guy who gets all the ice time. 15 games, 2 goals, 8 assists, 10 points. But again, by average ice time, he's the number 1 guy. Nick Hague has not set the world on fire in Nashville. 19 games, 1 goal, 6 assists, 7 points. But he's a decent option on the blue line. I think the additions on the blue line for Nashville have been fine. They're not world changers necessarily, but I think Hague's been good for Nashville. We'll see how long he's a member of the Nashville Predators. For Colorado, Cale Makar leads them in ice time. I'm surprised too. 27 games, 9 goals, 24 assists, 33 points. I also want to mention too, I don't think any of these totals include today's games that have been played thus far or are in action. So this would not include today's game for Makar. Olofsson, 27 games, 6 goals, 11 assists, 17 points. Had a really good start for Colorado. kind of been quieter lately. Olofsson's very hot and cold. This is how he started bouncing around the league a little bit. And so Olofsson, just a depth player in Colorado. If he's not scoring, it's not a huge deal. With that lack of pressure, I think that does, make things a little bit easier for him. In Utah, Sergachev, of course, leads them in ice time. 29 games, 4 goals, 15 assists, 19 points as he continues to grow into that role as a number one player. JJ Peterka, 29 games, 12 goals, 10 assists, 22 points. Seems to be enjoying his time in Utah since leaving Buffalo. Interesting to note, Peterka 22 points in 29 games, and Doan 19 points in 28 games. So not a huge difference between the two players. And then you've got Kesselring, of course, went to Buffalo as well, but Kesselring's been hurt most of the year, so no point in putting him on the board. For St. Louis, Broberg leads him in ice time. 28 games, 2 goals, 8 assists, 10 points for the pending restricted free agent. So Broberg's had himself a bit of a year, and he's playing a lot of minutes. Mailloux, 1 assist in 15 games and an ugly minus 15. So Logan Mailloux has not had an easy time of it with St. Louis. He's been a healthy scratch at points as well. And so that's the storyline so far for him with the St. Louis Blues since being traded over from Montreal. So Bolduc definitely having the stronger season of the two, but there's a lot of time left. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Which of the guys on the board's underrated? Which one's overrated? That kind of stuff. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It's greatly appreciated. I will talk to you again soon.